So, my dear students, today is a very special holy day. Today is known as Vamana Dwadasi. Yesterday we observed Ekadashi, but today is Vamana Dwadashi, the appearance of Lord Vamanadev. Last year we did a special program on Lord Vamana based on the chapter summaries of Prabhupada's 8th canto of Bhagavatam. So this year, I've done a little different. It's also from the Bhagavatam, but it's from a different perspective. And it's narrated by Shukadeva Goswami. So first we'll begin with the prayer to Vamanadev by Jayadev Goswami. Chalayasi Vikramane Balim Adbhuta Vamana Padanakanira Janita Jana Pavana Keshavadrita Vamana Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Chalayasi Vikramane Balim Adbhuta Vamana Padanakanira Janita Jana Pavana Keshavadrita Trivikram Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Urukrama Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Upendra Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Jaya Jagadisha Jaya Jagadisha Hare Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. O wonderful dwarf Vamanadev, you deceived King Bali by your massive steps, and the Ganges water, which emanates from the nails of your lotus feet, delivers all living beings within this world. O Lord Keshava, glorious for your fine hair. So, the story of Vamanadev is nicely described in the 8th canto, and it comprises several chapters. But there is a short information given by Shukadeva, a short section, which is found in the 5th canto. And this particular perspective is from the perspective of Bali Maharaj. So, here is the section. Shukadeva Goswami said to King Parikshit, "My dear king, Lord Vishnu, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, appeared as Vamanadev in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj. Then Vamana extended his left foot to the end of the universe, and it pierced a hole in its covering. And this was done with the toenail of his big toe. And through that hole, the pure water of the causal ocean entered this universe as the Ganges River. Having washed the lotus feet of Lord Vamana, which are covered with reddish powder, the water of the Ganges acquired a very beautiful pink color. Every living being can immediately purify one's mind of material contamination by touching the transcendental water of the Ganges, and yet its waters remain ever pure. Because the Ganga directly touches the lotus feet of the Lord before descending within this universe, Ganga Devi is known also as Vishnu Padi. Later, Ganga Devi received other names like Jahnavi and Bhagirathi. And after 1,000 millenniums, the water of the Ganga descended on Dhruvaloka, the topmost planet in this universe. Therefore, all learned sages and scholars proclaim Dhruvaloka to be Vishnupada, situated on Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that appears in the beginning of the 5th canto, and then later on, towards the end, Shukadev again speaks about Vamana Dev and the relationship he has with Bali Maharaj. Shukadeva Goswami next informed Maharaj Parikshit that below the planet Vitala, there is another planet known as Sutala, where the great son of Maharaj Virochana, Bali Maharaj, who is celebrated as the most pious king, resides even now. For the welfare of Indra, the king of heaven, Lord Vishnu appeared in the form of a dwarf brahmachari, Vamana, as the son of Aditi, and tricked Bali Maharaj by begging for only 3 paces of land, but actually taking away all the 3 worlds. Being very pleased with Bali Maharaj for giving away all his possessions, Lord Vamana returned Bali's kingdom and made Bali richer than the opulent King Indra. Even now, Bali Maharaj engages in devotional service by worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his planet of Sutala. My dear King Parikshit, Bali Maharaj donated all of his possessions to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vamana Deva. But one should certainly not conclude that Bali achieved his great worldly opulence in the Bila Swarga, or subterranean heavenly planets, simply as a result of Bali's charitable disposition. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the source of all life for all living entities, lives within everyone as the friendly supersoul, and under his direction, a living entity enjoys or suffers in the material world. Greatly appreciating the transcendental qualities of Lord Vamana, Bali Maharaj offered everything at Vamana Dev's lotus feet. Bali's purpose, however, was not to gain anything material, but rather to become a pure devotee. For a pure devotee, the door of liberation is automatically open. So one should not think that Bali Maharaj was given so much material opulence merely because of his charity. For when one becomes a pure devotee in love, he or she may also be blessed with a good material position by the will of the Supreme Lord. However, one should not mistakenly think that the material opulence of a devotee is the result of his or her devotional service. No. The real result of devotional service is the awakening of pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which continues under all circumstances. My dear King, if one is embarrassed by hunger, or if one falls down, or if one stumbles, and also chants the holy name of the Lord even once, willingly or unwillingly, he or she is immediately freed from the reactions of one's past deeds. This statement by Shukadev is so important that I must repeat it. This statement is so powerful. If one who is embarrassed by hunger, or if one falls down, or if one stumbles, and chants the holy name of the Lord, even once, even willingly or unwillingly, he or she is immediately freed from the reactions of one's past deeds. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. On the other hand, karmis who are entangled in material activities face many difficulties in their practice of mystic yoga and other endeavors to achieve that same freedom. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart as Paramatma, the Supersoul, sells himself to his devotees, such as Narada Muni. In other words, the Lord gives pure love to such devotees and gives himself to those who love him purely. Great self-realized mystic yogis, such as the four Kumaras, also derive great transcendental bliss from realizing the Supersoul within themselves. However, the Supreme Personality of Godhead did not award his mercy to Bali Maharaj by giving Bali any kind of material happiness or opulence, because these make one forget loving service to the Lord. The result of material opulences is that one can no longer absorb his or her mind in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead could see no other means of taking everything away from Bali, Vamana adopted the trick of begging from Bali and then took away all the three worlds. Thus, only Bali's body was left. But still, Lord Vamana was not satisfied. So Vamana arrested Bali Maharaj, bound him with the ropes of Varuna, and threw Bali into a cave in a mountain. Nevertheless, although all his property was taken and he was thrown into a cave, Bali Maharaj was such a great devotee that Bali spoke as follows. Alas, how pitiable it is for Indra, king of heaven, that although he is very learned and powerful, and although Indra chose Brihaspati as his prime minister to instruct him, Indradev is completely ignorant concerning spiritual advancement. And Brihaspati is also unintelligent because Brihaspati did not properly instruct his disciple Indradeva. Because Vamana Dev was standing at Indra's door, but King Indra, instead of begging from Vamana an opportunity to render transcendental loving service, Indra engaged Vamana in asking me for alms in order to gain the three worlds for his own sense gratification. After all, sovereignty over the three worlds is very insignificant, because whatever material opulence one may possess lasts only for an age of Manu, which is but a tiny fraction of endless time. My grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj, is the only person who understood his own self-interest. Upon the death of Prahlad's father, Hiranyakashipu, Lord Nrsimha wanted to offer Prahlad his father's kingdom and even wanted to grant Prahlad liberation from material bondage. But Prahlad accepted neither. Indeed, Prahlad thought that liberation and material opulence are obstacles to devotional service. And therefore, such gifts from the Supreme Personality of Godhead are not his actual mercy. Consequently, instead of accepting the results of karma and jnana, Prahlad simply begged the Lord for engagement in the service of his servant Narada Muni. Persons like us, who are still attached to material enjoyment, who are contaminated by the modes of material nature, and who lack the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, cannot follow the supreme path of Prahlad Maharaj, the most exalted devotee of the Lord. Shukadeva Goswami thus concludes, My dear King Parikshit, how shall I glorify the character of Bali Maharaj, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of the three worlds, who is most compassionate towards his devotee, stands with club in hand at Bali Maharaj's door. Once, when Ravana, the most powerful demon, came to gain victory over Bali Maharaj, Vamana Dev kicked him a distance of 80,000 miles with his big toe. I shall explain the character and activities of Bali Maharaj later. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.